that President Trump has quietly signed a directive green-lighting U.S. military force outside of the United States. The target? Powerful cartels operating deep inside Latin America.
America, we just learned that President Trump has secretly signed a classified directive authorizing the U.S. military to use force against drug cartels designated as foreign terrorist organizations. We're talking about the Sinaloa Cartel, MS-13, Venezuelans Cartel Dela and Tren de Aragua. But here's the kicker. This isn't just about Mexico. The authorization covers operations at sea and on foreign soil, which means cartels operating anywhere in Latin America are now in the crosshairs of American military power.
President Trump giving the green light to the U.S. military to strike drug cartels on foreign soil. News Nation did get the opportunity to directly ask the president about this directive to the Pentagon.
What is up, guys? Tyson, Dela, Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This is the most aggressive move against cartels in American history, and it's exactly what we need to stop the fentanyl epidemic that's killing 100,000 Americans every single year. Let me break down what we know about this classified directive. According to the New York Times, Trump has quietly signed an order giving the Pentagon authority to use military force against cartels that have been designated as foreign terrorist organizations. This includes operations both at sea and on foreign soil.
News Nation pressing President Trump on reports that he secretly signed a directive ordering the Pentagon to use military force against drug cartels labeled as foreign terrorist organizations.
When News Nation directly asked Donald Trump about this directive, he was coy but didn't deny it.
Cartels where?
Central Latin America.
Well, Latin America's got a lot of cartels. They've got a lot of drugs flowing. So, we want to protect our country. We have to protect our country. We haven't been doing it for 4 years.
The targets include the Sinaloa Cartel, Venezuelans Cartel Dela, Tren de Aragua, and MS-13. These aren't just drug dealers. These are military-grade criminal organizations that have been waging war on American communities for decades. You know what's crazy? While we're talking about Trump finally taking aggressive action to protect Americans from foreign threats, there's another area where Americans need protection from people trying to take advantage of them: Medicare. If you're 65 or older, you know how many people try to push you towards plans that benefit them instead of actually protecting you. That is exactly why Chapter is different. Just like Trump is finally putting American first against these cartels, Chapter puts you first when it comes to Medicare. They connect you with trusted advisors who actually fight for your interests, not the insurance companies. No games, and they won't push you towards expensive plans that make them more money. What makes Chapter trustworthy is they actually take the aggressive approach you need. They take the time to understand your specific situation, fight for the best options available, and help you make the right choice. Whether you're new to Medicare or thinking about switching plans, they'll go through that battle with you. If you want someone who actually fights for you like Trump fights for America, call 270-467-0614 or go to askchapter.org/Tyson. That's askchapter.org/Tyson. Don't let the system take advantage of you. Get the aggressive help that you deserve. Now back to Trump's war on the cartel. This military authorization comes alongside some serious financial incentives. The Trump administration just doubled the bounty on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro to $50 million, with Attorney General Pam Bondi calling him one of the largest narcos traffickers in the world.
Maduro uses foreign terrorist organizations like TDA, Sinaloa, and Cartel of the Suns to bring deadly drugs and violence into our country. He is one of the largest narco traffickers in the world and a threat to our national security.
Think about this. We're treating the president of Venezuela like a terrorist leader with a $50 million bounty on his head. That's because he essentially is a terrorist leader running a narco state that's poisoning Americans with fentanyl. The DEA says they seized 30 tons of cocaine from Maduro's criminal network, with 7 tons tied directly to Maduro himself. The Justice Department has already confiscated over $770 million in assets linked to Maduro, including private jets and luxury cars.
DEA says 30 tons of cocaine have been seized from Maduro and his criminal network, 7 tons tied directly to Maduro himself. And the Justice Department says that is just part of this investigation.
Therefore, they doubled down his reward to $50 million under President Trump's leadership. Maduro will not escape justice. According to reports, military planners have already mapped out targets. This represents the most aggressive escalation in America's war on the cartels, opening doors to operations both at sea and on cartel home turf.
It's the most aggressive move yet in his war on the cartels. Times says that military planners are already mapping out targets.
We've already seen what this cooperation can look like. In May, U.S. and Mexico forces conducted a rare joint raid on 3 major drug labs in Sinaloa, seizing fentanyl and chemical precursors. But that was with Mexico's permission. This new authorization could allow unilateral action. The key difference is that Trump's directive allows for covert operations. A former Mexican Special Service member told News Nation that the U.S. could conduct covert military strikes without notifying Mexican authorities. Similarly, how they captured El Mayo Zambada, co-founder of the Sinaloa Cartel, last year.
What he says is that the United States could conduct a covert military strike, meaning that the United States could strike cartels and not notify Mexican authorities.
Of course, Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum is having a complete meltdown over this. She doubled down yesterday, telling reporters she will never allow U.S. troops to enter Mexico. She said the United States is not going to come to Mexico with the military. We cooperate, but there's not going to be an invasion. That is ruled out. But here's the problem with Mexico's position. They've proven that they can't or won't control the cartels.
President Sheinbaum would she would be first to admit that there's a lot of corruption within the Mexican government. The cartels have a lot of money to buy things. They also have a kind of a policy, which is either you work with us or they'll go after they'll not go after just the officials, they'll go after their families as well.
This is exactly why unilateral action might be necessary. When you can't trust the host government because they're compromised by the very criminals we're trying to eliminate, covert operations become the only option. The legal framework for this, in my opinion, is solid. By designating these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, Trump has given the military the same authorization he had against ISIS and Al-Qaeda. These aren't just criminals anymore. They're enemy combatants in a war against American communities. The precedent exists too. Keir pointed out that we've used military force in this hemisphere before.
The U.S. has done things. This is our sphere of influence, so to speak. We have put military forces in Mexico and Nicaragua and Haiti, and we have had a military presence down there for some time.
The difference now is that we have the technology and intelligence capabilities to conduct precise strikes against cartel leadership and infrastructure without the massive ground invasions of the past. The Treasury Department has also sanctioned what they're calling Cartel dos los Soles, a criminal organization based in Venezuela with Maduro as the head. This directly links a foreign government to drug trafficking into the United States, which is essentially an act of war. America, this secret military authorization represents a fundamental shift in how we're fighting the war on drugs. For decades, we treated cartels like a law enforcement problem. Now we're treating them like the terrorist organizations they actually are. These cartels have killed more Americans than any foreign army through the fentanyl epidemic. They've destabilized entire regions of Latin America, corrupted governments, and turned our southern border into a war zone. It's time we respond with the appropriate force. The $50 million bounty on Maduro sends a clear message. If you're a foreign leader trafficking drugs into America, you're a legitimate military target. The secret authorization to use force against cartels means nowhere is safe for these criminal organizations. Mexico can protest all they want, but they've had decades to deal with the cartel problem, and they absolutely failed. When your government is so corrupt by criminal organizations that you can't enforce your own laws, don't be surprised when other countries step in to protect their citizens. This is exactly what we voted for. A president who's willing to use American military power to protect American lives instead of fighting endless wars in countries that don't matter to our national security. I'll keep you updated as this secret war against the cartels unfolds. And remember, this is what happens when you elect a president who puts America first instead of worrying about what foreign governments think. Let me know what you think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.